Welcome back to Elevation Perspective. My name is Mark, joined today with Frank Tropiano. Frank, we're talking wrestling today. We just had a Saturday night main event this past Saturday. It was pretty much the glorified house show I think we expected it to be. Shout out to Chelsea Green winning that United States Women's Championship. Very cool there. Overall, Frank, how do you feel about the show?
Yeah, I feel like, well, you are correct. It felt like a glorified house show. The energy was really nice. Like it was quick. It was a lot like a Raw, but there were not really a lot of promos or anything like that. Shout out to Jesse Ventura for his great commentary. I thought him and Pat going back and forth was hysterical in that
He
main
was
event.
very funny. He had some really good lines in there for sure. I thought they would give us like one surprise, like one
Yeah,
interesting thing to happen. It was just so by the book.
especially because it was the first. I think this is basically what you would expect from this moving forward. For it to be entertaining. The matches were great. All the matches were great. Um, I wish they would have put the stuff with Kevin Owens on afterwards, him attacking Cody on the show. I wish we would have gotten that, but I do like the way they've been doing like these backstage like segments too. So I can't really complain.
They want it to feel more real. That's the realistic aspect where the show went off air and like a quote unquote fan caught that footage of Triple H going out there and getting physical with Kevin. But no, I think that would have had a stronger impact if that were to be on the show before it went off air.
Right, right, and I think overall it was a fun show. Like you said, Chelsea Green won the belt, so there was something significant there in terms of storyline and booking and stuff like that. But yeah, overall fun.
All right, we'll jump into Raw tonight on the Monday, December 16th edition of Monday Night Raw. I thought it was a very fun show, honestly. I thought it was very good overall. They did a very good job setting up the first Raw on Netflix. I thought a lot of different angles there. We kick things off here with Punk and Seth. They had another pull apart brawl here, and it was announced officially they're getting their match on the premiere of Netflix.
Yeah, I mean, awesome. I saw a quote. I don't even know if it was true or not, but they said they were treating this Raw on Netflix like it was WrestleMania, which I find funny and the fact that we know that it's not going to be that big, but they're trying to make it a huge deal. And you can tell with the marketing and stuff like that. Like, this is the biggest Raw premiere. This is the biggest episode of Raw in a really, really long time. Like, they've talked up other episodes of Raw or SmackDown anniversary editions, whether it be year or like the number of shows they taped. But this one feels big. So I do think big things are going to happen on the show. WrestleMania, not sure, but PLE type of level at least.
No, it's definitely clear they want to knock this out of the park. They're going to pull out all the stops here. I think we're going to see some celebrities in there. There'll probably be some legends like sitting front row. They like to do that now as well. I'm excited. I think definitely a high-end pay-per-view. I don't know, like you said, I don't know if WrestleMania is going to be the feel for this night, but it's going to be a lot of fun. So again, Seth and Punk, another pull-apart brawl, just continuing their feud. Another interesting beat here to the story. Backstage, we had Drew McIntyre confront Seth Rollins, and what you've told me before, and what some other people have said on the internet, where they can kind of potentially become a team here, like Drew, Kevin Owens, Seth, like all the guys trying to take down the powers that be. But I thought it was really interesting, a nice like wrinkle in the story that Seth like maintained, like, no, Sammy and Jay are my friends, like essentially staying a babyface throughout this process.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's funny you say this because I saw someone post on Twitter today a picture of Seth, Drew, and Kevin Owens in riot
As
gear
the
saying
Shield, yeah, yeah.
Shield 2.0, and I thought that was hysterical. I honestly wish I would have wrote it down so I can give the person credit for it. I thought it was super entertaining. The way that the brawl kind of happened, Punk and Rollins, they mix their words together very, very nicely. So, like I've been saying, this feud is one that I'm excited for. But in terms of the possibilities of McIntyre and KO and Seth teaming up, I mean, I'm all for it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm all in for that. I can't tell a lie.
And this was just the starting point, like their first interaction with Seth and Drew. So we definitely could be swayed to the dark side. This might be an ongoing storyline they continue here. Do you think here, in regards to the match, the Seth and Punk match, one, we get a finish, and two, is it clean?
So I was actually thinking about this in the context of Drew should cost Punk this match.
He should help Seth win.
If if this is indeed the route that we're going to go down, and like I said, I'd be highly entertained by this route, especially Kevin Owens in his current state. I think it's important to throw him in there, especially Kevin Owens in his current state where he's like paranoid. don't trust anyone, but then he's going to team up with these two. Like, I think he could make for some great television on his own,
I was
stable
going to say,
of
I think you're
wackiness.
looking a little too far ahead here. We're not there yet, but
Uh,
it's fair to fantasy dream this like big matchup together. We also just passed Survivor Series, which would have been this 5-on-5 you're talking
yeah,
about.
right.
So
Like maybe this is a whole year type of buildup to get us back to war games, you know?
that'd be a long, slow build. But anyway, we'll past all of that. It's going to be really exciting to watch that feud develop in the next few weeks until it does have that culmination at the first Raw on Netflix. But Braun Breaker retained his title here against Ludwig Kaiser. Me personally, I feel like we should probably give Braun someone else now. I think it's fine to probably give him like a better opponent than Ludwig Kaiser and Sheamus right now. Maybe someone a little bit more credible.
Who?
I didn't think you were going to ask me who. So listen, I mean, just on the top of my head, LA Knight kind of announced today on Twitter that he's going over to Raw when the shift happens to Netflix. That kind of makes no brainer sense to start a feud with LA Knight and Braun Breaker.
Yeah, I mean, I'd definitely be down for that. I think we have to see how the transfer portal period kind of shakes out here. I like that they're doing this as college football is entering their transfer portal too. They're really capitalizing on the momentum
They're
there.
trying to stay very timely. They're trying to be a real sports industry here.
Yeah, and the transfer portal in college football has become a huge deal. So maybe we could make this like a yearly thing. So now we get to switch up in the roster every 6 months instead of every year, which will help keep things fresh and new. My question is, how are they going to execute it? Are they going to do it well? You know?
Yeah, no, I'm definitely nervous, especially seeing like a top mid card guy like LA Knight switching over there. I look at the SmackDown roster. I think we're all assuming that Cody and Gunther are going to switch spots most likely. So then your two top champions there, you have Gunther and Shinsuke Nakamura. I'm a little concerned about the star power. Maybe they're keeping the Bloodline on there. Maybe the Bloodline are just fighting on the first Raw because it's a big attraction, but they're all staying on SmackDown. Maybe that's their plan here, but it feels like SmackDown needs some serious help.
You would think that when Netflix went to the bargaining table with WWE and they said, okay, we're going to give you all this money, but we need Roman Reigns on the show. Like we need Roman Reigns on Monday Night Raw. Like that's what you would think, but I don't know how those negotiations work. Like I can't sit here and say that I've ever been in a big network negotiation before, so maybe that's
Well, they're
not
getting
stuff that's
Cody,
discussed.
presumably.
Right, and that is a huge deal in its own right. Um, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Kevin Owens is still obviously on SmackDown. He's a huge deal, but it feels like those guys at the top right now there's a blurred line on where they're going to go. Are they feuding with Roman? Are they feuding with Cody? Like what's happening there? It's going to be interesting to see how that all shakes out. Hopefully, we have a more clearer picture headed into that Raw.
Because you did throw me on the spot there, who do you want to see Braun Breaker jump into next with?
Ooh, okay. So my hope they teased it a little bit, but like I really want to see Jacob Fatu versus Braun Breaker. I think that match would be ridiculous, but we're not going to get that yet, and I know that. So I don't think that that's even a realistic thing like that I'm allowed to say. But if the Bloodline does come over, Raw, I'm sorry, WrestleMania, that is my Intercontinental Championship match. That has so much potential.
That's a Mania
Um,
caliber match. That's a WrestleMania caliber match right there.
Absolutely. I think that's a in terms of I don't know if you can have dream matches as early into the WWE careers as those two men are. You know what I mean? But if there's one that I'm fantasy booking where I'm like, yes, give me those two, put them in a steel cage or something like that. Like make it a crazy stipulation. They don't need it, but it'll make it even better. Give me those two. But in terms of Braun Breaker's next opponent, I really like what you said about LA Knight. I think he's great. I feel like my answer for every who do you want to see this person face next is Kevin Owens, but I'm going to stick with it. I think a paranoid Kevin Owens somehow working his way into the Intercontinental title picture. Again, I don't know how that would work, but since I don't know what the rosters are going to be like, I'm going to use that to my advantage. And I'm going to say I'd like to see Kevin Owens versus Braun Breaker. I think that match would have a very high intensity. Braun takes down baby faces, he takes down heels. He's not really one way or another.
You're
So I think
telling
it'd
me
be
you don't think Kevin Owens is going to win Cody Rhodes' title here?
no, unless he
Yeah,
gets
that's
help from Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins, and they form the Shield 2.0 that night.
no, I don't
That's
think so either. I just kind of wanted to. It frustrates me because it just makes all the sense in the world, but because Cody is the champion, he's not going to drop the belt.
I think it can only be done so many times, and we're at past the point with Kevin Owens where we're like, oh, he looked really protected in that win, but I have to say, they really protected him in that win. Like he had a 1, 2, 3 count on Cody Rhodes in that win.
They always
So
do. They all the times Roman Reigns beat him, he was so protected. All the
they
Usos
ran
were
over him with a
involved.
golf cart.
They handcuffed him to something. It was
Yeah.
every time. It was the whole. And I mean, Kevin Owens is a big deal. He should be protected, but it just gets to the point where give him the win already. Like we've
2025 needs to be the year that Kevin Owens regains a world title, whether it's the world heavyweight or the WWE
it's going to be a
championship.
tough year to do that with John Cena coming back and all these other
That
guys. But
it's crowded at the top, but they're going to have to make it work.
fair enough. We have to talk about the Judgment Day now, which I don't even know where to start with all the Judgment Day stuff. So they're continuing to have their backstage problems. The group is just so like non-threatening anymore. I think it's Rhea Ripley. I think you just look at that group now backstage and a bunch of goofballs. It's like Dominic and Liv, who are still like pretty credible with Raquel behind them. And it's Finn doing his weird Finn stuff. Carlito's like playing video games, and JD's being JD. And I just look at that group now, and I think they're such like a shell of their former self. I think that's kind of by design. Like they're supposed to be portrayed as like a weak looking group, but at the same time, like why are we still doing this?
I don't understand the Liv Finn struggle for like
Power.
control of the group. That to me doesn't make any sense. When it was like the same thing as Rhea and Priest kind of had for a little while.
What is the saying
Um,
they keep using? It's like win for Finn or
the phrase is when you listen to Finn, you win, which is fun and I like it. I don't know what we're doing here to answer your question though. I don't understand the power struggle, the power dynamic between the two of them. It doesn't make any sense to me.
you
Like
got to
they're
remember, presumably the two of them were the real like leaders that knocked out Rhea and Priest. Like it was kind of led to believe that it was Finn Balor and Liv Morgan who were conniving behind everyone's back and made this happen. And now they're immediately like feuding with each other like 2 months later for kind of no reason.
that. And well, the JD and Finn Balor title reign was cool because they were childhood friends and stuff like that. Now that it's over, what is the point of the Judgment Day anymore? I think they've lost their way so hard these last few. You know, it was great when they broke up with Rhea and Damian initially.
Just
That
for
was
context, really quickly, Frank said now that it's over tonight, the War Raiders did defeat JD and Finn Balor. We have the new tag team champions. Continue, Frank.
sorry. I jumped the gun there. But now that that's over, I mean, Liv doesn't need the Judgment Day to reign as champion. I like what they're doing with her and Raquel. I think Raquel is a good valet for Liv.
I think she's provided nothing to this point.
So it's just a way to keep Liv on top. And like I understand that. Like I'm not saying there's anything Raquel has done, but like she's this big imposing force next to Liv. It's almost like they've got the Shawn Michael Diesel thing working for them. Obviously different times,
But does
but
Raquel have any, I don't know if aura is the right word, but any type of stature, any type of scare besides being tall?
I think she's just bigger than everybody else, and that definitely, to me, that kind of thing matters. At least when you put her next to Liv, and you see the size difference between the two of them, and then you see the way she's just willing to do whatever Liv says, and she has like this control over this. So she has a championship, she has Dom, she has Raquel. Like Liv has this full package, like look right now to
Frank, I'm
me.
going to cue you up again right here, but Raquel couldn't even beat Zoe Stark tonight.
I Why Zoe Stark over Raquel here? It doesn't make any sense to
And
me.
not for nothing, like no one really cares about the situation at hand right now. But Kaden Carter was the best one in that match. I never really seen her in singles matches before. I usually just see her in her tag. Who was she teaming up with formerly?
She teams up with Katana Chance.
Katana Chance.
Yeah.
They're a pretty good tag team, but I never saw her singles before until tonight, and she was really impressive.
Yeah, they both are. They're very athletic. I don't understand tonight's decision at all. I thought Raquel, again, perfect look. You got Liv with the main belt. You have Raquel with the IC. It just looks right. And I don't know. I was a little disappointed in the finish tonight.
And I feel like you and I can go on and on about Zoe Stark. We just don't really get it. We don't want to like harp or be mean about anyone specifically, but we kind of just watch her week in and week out. She doesn't really seem to be getting better. Like she doesn't really do much, but it seems like Triple H really likes her and really wants her to work.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like what you said. Like we're not here to like make fun of or bully any or anything like that. That's not what we want to do. But in terms of like who is capturing the audience, which I think that's a fair criticism, right? Like, are you capturing the audience? Like, I'm going to use Maxine as a perfect example of this, right? She gets a spot weekly because she was bad. She got booed. She got better. Maybe she's still not great, but like she's captured the attention of the audience. Zoe
Yeah,
Stark
no,
hasn't.
she was definitely over with her comedic value with what she was doing behind the scenes.
Right. She found ways to get over, and then like I said, she had to go through the adversity though. She got booed like
Mhm.
hard, and she was the baby face, and that like can't be a good feeling, especially when you're starting out the way she was, not really a lot of experience. I know she had some time in NXT, but it wasn't a lot. This is her first time doing this, right? She got over. She deserved a spot every week. Like she got the fan reaction. Zoe Stark, excuse me, they put her with Trish Stratus, and it has never felt like there's any reaction or anything like that. And again, like you said, it's not to be mean. It's just where we need something, right? Like the crowd helps you get invested as a wrestling fan. I think that's a big part of it. And there's just not really a lot there right now.
No, that's well said. Just closing point here on the Judgment Day. Of course, Liv went out there to cut her promo that she cuts every week to "This is my brutality." Rhea comes out there. She talked to Pierce, and she's the new number one contender for some reason. I don't know if it's officially the Raw or if it's maybe at the Rumble. I don't think that was said. She's just a number one contender. It's got to be over this time, right? Whatever happens here, it's got to be over with Rhea and Liv.
I think that if you really want it to be over, the best way to do it is Liv wins and she tells Rhea, okay, back of the line. And Pierce is like, I can't help you anymore. You know what I mean? Like you lost. Like I can't help it anymore.
Maybe
And
we
maybe
separate them. Maybe we just
I was
put
about
Rhea
to
over
say,
on SmackDown.
maybe we brush Rhea over to SmackDown now. That might not be the worst idea. Or Liv moves over to SmackDown after losing the title. That could also be something if they wanted to do something like that. To me, though, you're right. It's gotten to a point now where Rhea has to win and get the belt back, or she has to lose and it has to be done one way or another.
Just wild guess. Who do you have?
I'm going to take Liv right now, but I do believe that this is pretty 50-50. I think they could go either way. In fact, I wouldn't even be surprised if someone told me they were leaning Rhea because
I'm gonna go Liv too. I think Liv is the correct choice.
Rhea is a massive star. And so having the championship on her and giving her the championship, that Netflix episode, you want to talk about the PLE type of aura that show is supposed to have, that would be a way to do it.
Especially since we think the girls are coming back, the girls being Becky and Charlotte. Like, we don't need to put a title on Rhea right now where it won't be touched for months. Like, if Rhea wins, Rhea's not dropping that belt for at least a handful of months.
Right. And Rhea can also have a standalone match that does not involve a belt at WrestleMania, which I think is something that, not that Liv can't. I honestly think Liv is very, very close to bursting into that upper echelon of the women's division.
Mm-hmm.
But I think to get there, she has to win this match. So it's like a damned if you do, damned if you don't. Because if you're having her lose this match, right, then she's not the kind of person that could have a match without a title at WrestleMania, right?
I agree with that.
But in order to get her there, she wins this match. It's like, okay, Liv is a top tier talent in the women's division. But then she has the belt, and you're not going to have her lose it before WrestleMania.
She should win a 20-minute great match with no help from Dominic, is what she should.
Yeah, no, I think if they are good with her winning clean, Oblivion, middle of the ring, 1, 2, 3. I think that would be the best way. Maybe a few shenanigans in the middle of the match, but nothing towards the end of the match.
Finish, yeah.
Right.
Our last note for today's episode: we have a new match announced for the first Raw on Netflix. We have Roman Reigns taking on Solo Sikoa in Tribal Combat. Frank, I hear Tribal Combat. I immediately think The Rock is getting involved with this match. How do you feel about the match as a whole?
You hear bloodline rules, you hear Tribal Combat. You're like, all right, let's have everyone we know get involved. And I've yet to be disappointed on a match. I just want to throw that out there. So yeah, I'm expecting some type of something that maybe a wrestling purist might consider overbooked, but someone who likes excitement like myself is going to really enjoy, and The Rock could definitely be that person.
I think it's a very dangerous game now where this is the one-on-one match. We've had a lot of different matches now between these two men. I feel like Roman's looked better in most situations, unless there's like a 4-on-1 beatdown. If Solo loses this match, I just don't know where he goes from here. I know he can't really take any more losses, in my opinion, based off the War Game situation.
Yeah, I mean, Solo should win this match, no question. It doesn't look like Roman's rolling with the bloodline right now. You could have maybe Jimmy get involved, maybe Jay get involved, and still be counteracted by Solo's bloodline. Solo doesn't have to win clean here, but he has to win.
I think it being the first Raw on Netflix, you can't really see Solo winning without The Rock's help. Like, you know what I mean? Because that's such a big moment. Like Roman Reigns getting pinned on the first Raw on Netflix is kind of crazy to think about. But if it's a rock bottom from The Rock and then a spike from Solo, like then yeah, that works. As I talk about it and as I look at it more, I'm very excited for this first Raw on Netflix. I know we were kind of, I don't think we were downplaying it, but calling it like WrestleMania where they might not have been an overstep. But now you're looking at it, you're seeing Roman Reigns versus Solo. You're seeing Seth versus CM Punk. You're seeing something with John Cena on this show. I think we're seeing Becky Lynch on this show. That's just a prediction. And we're probably going to get so much more, like I said, celebrities, legends. It just feels like this is going to be an incredible night. All right, that's going to do it for us today. Frank, another fun episode here. Hopefully everyone had a great time, and thanks so much for watching.